So it is the day that I get to sit down with Bishop O's and Lady Nicole. I call them the TikTok pastors. America's pastors, I'll put it that way. I'm so excited that you all allowed me time in your space and that you made time for this, because I know that y'all are busy. Y'all could be skating, dancing, and doing all the other wonderful things that you do. But thank you so much. I want to pause so that you all can properly introduce yourself. And then we'll just go from there. Like I said, this is going to be really informal. I want people to feel like, we're sitting, at one of the tables at the barbecue and kind of listening in on our conversation, okay?
Okay.
All righty.
Wonderful. I'm Bishop O's, Vance O's, and
I'm Nicole O's.
and we're so delighted. Both of us born and raised in the DMV, which is the District of Columbia, DC, Maryland area. We both went to school in this area.
Maryland, I'm a Maryland.
Maryland, yeah, she's a Maryland girl. I'm a city boy. So, but
I love the way people from Maryland say Maryland.
Maryland, yeah. And so we pair off pretty good. We're thankful for the opportunity that God has opened up this portal, this corridor, this opportunity where we can touch lives and impact lives. And we're just so grateful and privileged to even be on today, to have the opportunity to share our lives. We're very open. We have nothing to hide. What you see is what you get. And that's how we rock.
I love the way y'all live out loud. Go ahead, Lady Nicole. I didn't want to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying we just here on love impacting people's lives and bringing joy and smiles to everyone.
Well, y'all are definitely impacting people's lives. I think somebody forwarded me a video of Bishop skating. Now, I love skating. I'm not good at it though. So seeing people that can really skate, it's like you kind of imagine that you're doing. I never was able to get the little backwards skate down pat, but it is what it is at this point. But I do a little something going forward. But that's one of the things that, of course, that y'all are known for on the internet. And, I want to bring this all together because, like I said, I mean, you make life look so fun and ministry looks so enjoyable. And we need that in this climate and in this space that we're in. So I think I have a TikTok account. I've never done a TikTok. What made y'all just, jump on TikTok, Instagram, and just say, hey, we're going to live out loud and, and show who we really are? What inspired that?
You want to answer that, or you want me to answer
it? You started it.
Yeah, actually, I started it because I've been engaged in social media for years in ministry. When MySpace was even created.
Really?
I was creating sermons and stuff, and I would do my own editing and so forth and so on. So during the pandemic, I literally started TikTok because I was in the house bored in the house bored. That's a TikTok, actually.
Bored in the house. Boy,
right. So
I heard that one.
Yeah. So literally, that's how it happened. It happened organic. I was bored. I tried the app, and I forgot the first TikTok I ever tried to demonstrate. It was a lip sync to a young kid, and he was talking about, it's that split. And I put on one of my Glen plaid suits and a hot pink shirt and said, it's my split. And I looked at the numbers, and the numbers were more higher than MySpace and Facebook ever been. I thought, And so I did another one, and then the numbers was high. And then the followers start going up really fast. And I was like, hey, this social media space is sort of impacting. And so I'm gonna start slipping in some word every now and so I did that, and my wife got a hold of it. We started doing it together, and it became a bonding. It became fun. It was really just enjoyable. We were just having fun. It was absolutely organic. We were just bored, couldn't go nowhere. Everybody was fearful and scared and frightened.
Yeah.
You dress up to go anywhere.
Yeah,
so
good dress up.
And I saw your dress up videos, Lady Nicole. What a word that stuck out? What you just said, that when you guys do the videos, it's a way of bonding. And I never thought about it like that. I mean, I probably would have to pull my husband, like drag him into doing a video with me. He's not that person. But talk about, when y'all are planning, how you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Is it some of your ideas too, Lady Nicole?
Oh yes, I really enjoy the comedy ones myself. He's more the dancer. We've been skating since we were 10 little kids. So I will look at other people's things, turn it around a little bit, change it up, and sometimes we just create our own. And that's what we've been doing. It's been really amazing and fun, definitely.
We collaborate when we create different stuff.
Yes.
And like I said, the bonding piece is phenomenal because you don't really know that, but you spending time.
Yeah.
Spending time. And sometimes creating is not always agreeable. And so even in creating, you have to learn how to compromise. Mm-hmm. See, so it strengthens relationships when you're doing stuff together. And we found that out because sometimes we have gotten literally like, we're going to do this over. Or we put this down for a minute, Or
take five.
Yes. And I'm a perfectionist. I strive for everything I do excellent. Everything. I don't look for big, I look for excellence. And so awesome. It has to be everything right, or we're going to do it over. Because I think when we demonstrating or creating content, it needs to be valuable.
Yes.
Right. That's so awesome. We never strive for viral. We strive for value. Because whoever following will appreciate value.
That's a word right there.
Because anything can go viral. Something stupid can go
absolutely
viral, right? So we don't strive for that. We strive for those that may follow us, that have been impacted, that they will get value every time we place any content out. We want to know that it was thought out, it has some value, or we just sometimes be silly. Some stuff that go viral, it was silly.
Yeah.
And like my wife, when Viola, what's her name?
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis shared one of our comedic missions, and my wife thought of it. It was literally like movie night. You start out at 10 o'clock, at 10:01 you sleep. And my wife said she want me to be on the couch, sleep with my glasses turned with pizza on top. Right. And that video went all over the place. Viola picked it up and it was absolutely phenomenal. Went everywhere. So, and that was my wife's idea. I didn't want to do it. I thought it was corny. I argued it down.
You shot her vision down.
I shot it down like, man, I ain't doing that crazy stuff. And she was like, baby, we need to do that. I'm like, no. And then I used that particular episode of fighting her down to listen to the voice of your wife.
And there's a lesson.
Had I not did it, and what it did, it opened up different portals, because when she shared it, she tagged us. And then that increased our followership.
Yes.
I mean, tremendously.
Yeah.
20, 30,000. They just flooded our space, and then they gave us another opportunity to impact. Mm-hmm. So she's good with the comedic stuff, making stuff up like that. She thinks she is the producer.
I think she holding that spot down. I think she got it. That one that I'm gonna dress up every Saturday with no place to go.
Oh yeah.
That was cute. That was so cute. But it's like the Bible says, he uses the foolish things. And it's so awesome that the space of social media and apps and things like that are infiltrating, people's space and people's homes, and just their thought processes. So that's such a wonderful thing, that people that you're making an impact without permission. You're not asking anybody, can you do it? You're just, you know, showing up unapologetically. And it's like, I mean, you can be having a bad day and you click on and you see you out there, you know, looking like you got on Versace skating and it's just, I mean, it just brings joy. And so, you know, on behalf of America, thank y'all.
We do get that. People say it just brightens their day. Sometimes they might be down and they look at our TikTok, they say they know they can come to our page to put a smile on their face.
Yes. And so that drew me, of course, over to your page to see ministry.
Yeah.
Because I'm from a line of preachers, preach myself, but I'm like, let me see what they're talking about. They, you know, you guys have found a way in. Yeah. And so that's amazing. That's amazing. Some people that, you know, probably would never go seek out the gospel, you know, found a way to do that. So, you know, I appreciate y'all for that.
And to be candid, that space of making people joyful while we do it, it's a ministry space there too, because there's times when I'm not joyful, but I still got to make somebody else joyful. You know, so it has become a ministry when I don't feel like it. My wife say, hey, maybe you want to do this, and I don't feel like it. You know? But really, that's just being candid and open. But I go out there and do what I need to do anyway as an assignment, because it's bigger than us.
Right.
You know,
it's a call.
So I want to encourage anybody that's listening that, you know, sometimes it's really not about you. So you have to go beyond how you feel when you're in a position of influence and impact. Because some people rely on us daily. Persons we get inboxes and DMs, like they say, I watch you daily, and it's been times I wanted to take my life, but I saw your video. Wow. And so regardless of how I'm feeling at the present moment, press ourselves to do what we have to do daily, whether it's a prayer, whether it's a skit, whether it's a dance, whether it's a skate, whether it's just kissing, whether it's just holding hands. It's something that will bring somebody some wholeness that they can move on the next day.
I love that wholeness. How long have y'all been married?
16 years.
Yes.
16 years. So did y'all grow up together? Your families knew each other?
I met my wife where?
In the skating rink.
How perfect was that?
Yes.
Met my wife at the skating rink 20 years ago.
Oh wow.
I'm 35. She was 34. And at the time I was in seminary. I was a preacher, and in seminary we wore suits every day. I went to school Monday.
Really?
Yeah, doing seminary.
Well, according to the book, you wore suits and would fly all the time anyway. Before seminary, in high school, you wore
that requirement for school was easy for me because I did that anyway.
Right, in high school.
Literally in high school in the 80s, and you know that wasn't really popular.
No.
But I always knew I was going somewhere. And my forefathers always told me to dress like you're going somewhere. And so I carried briefcases and suits to school. I really did. Skating rink. So I was in seminary. Every Wednesday, I would go to the skating rink after class. So I would walk in the skating. And I had on my little suit, and I had my skate bag on my shoulder, and she was sitting right there by the door at the locker on the bench, just sitting there by herself. That was attractive to me in and of itself, that she was by herself, because most women at the skating rink or at the skating rink click up, club up, you know, that sort of thing. And what was attractive to me, how I found her, she was by herself. And so back up, I was looking for a wife. It's all in the book, though, to be honest. I was looking for a wife.
You showed up by yourself. What happened to your friends? You showed up by yourself at the skating rink.
I would just, he means like there's a lot of skating clubs.
Oh,
we skate on adult night.
Oh, gotcha.
Club, actually.
See, I'm not a
club.
I'm not a skater.
She didn't come to the skating ring with girlfriends.
Yeah, I just go.
She's alone.
For the exercise.
Right. She wasn't going to skating ring, whether it was a club or not. She was by herself. She wasn't clicked up. And that was attractive to me. And so I eventually walked over there and said, hey, my name is Vance. What's your name? Introduced myself. And she said, Nicole. I said, well, later on, maybe we can skate. Couple skate. It's called.
Oh, yes. So, I know about the couple skate now.
One of the slow jams came on. One of the slow jams came on. And I went over there and asked her to skate. And I had to skate. And she said yes. And it was like magic on the floor. It happened on the floor. Like magic on the floor.
That's a song title. That's a song title. It happened on the floor.
That's the truth. It happened on the floor. And when we finally dated on our first date, I told her I wasn't playing no games. I'm looking for a wife. I don't have time playing. I'm not dating you to date you. You know, I'm looking for a wife. And so, and she can attest that.
Yes, because I was praying. I said, God, send me somebody that wasn't afraid of commitment, that wanted to be married. You know, I was tired of meeting jokers. So I said, when I met him, I was like, wow. I knew he was in seminary once I started talking to him. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure if this is the one, but I guess so, because that was the first thing he said out of his mouth on our first date, is that he was looking for a wife.
Yes.
She couldn't fathom marrying a preacher. She couldn't fathom.
You know, a lot of women can't. That's a high call. Just like the pastoral role. That's a high call.
Now, my wife, when I met her, right? See, most persons get mixed up because they try to marry their prototype and not their type. The prototype of my wife wasn't first lady. It was my type. She was beautiful. She had a banging body. She had short blonde hair, an earring in her nose. She was about 135 pounds. She had booty, thighs, hips, lips, fingertips. And everything. That's my type. You guys. Hey. I didn't need a woman running around the church speaking in tongues. I needed her to look good when I come home.
Listen, you know, I love that. I love the honesty, and I think in ministry and church and you know, churchdom, we don't look for the type.
Right.
We look for the person that we, you know, would fit in that particular role. Sure. And that might not be your type.
Sure. And when I pastored, it was a struggle because persons look for a first lady to be a certain way, or a preacher's wife would be a certain way.
Exactly.
What makes my wife a preacher's wife, I'm a preacher, and she's my wife.
There you go.
That's it. And that's all. And so, and she would tell me, you're not going to change me. You're not going to change me. This and that. And so, and I had to go through some cultivation and some development in that area of allowing my wife to be my wife in ministry.
Oh, wow.
That area. I had to seek some counsel of some people that held me accountable, that I submit to help me through that, to teach me to leave her alone.
So, Lady Nicole, tell me about your transition into that place, or that seat of a pastor's wife. I mean, and knowing that it's not something that you really wanted.
Well, yes, it was definitely.
But it was designed.
I grew up knowing God and Jesus Christ. My mother was very religious, so when I met him, he just brought me closer to God, which was wonderful, and I did appreciate that. As far as being in the church and the first lady, I was always doing the behind the scene things like accounting and things like that, keeping the church up. And I was first lady is like playing the piano or in the choir, all that type of stuff. But I was always had class and knew how to act. And when I went to church, so that's what was attracted to him about me.
Yeah. That's great. Tell me about y'all's ministry right now. What kind of church you got? Old people, young people, skaters, everybody?
We got everybody and lot of God. I mean, you know, we got several generations in our church, several cultures. People do all different type of things, from dope boys to nurses. I mean, so we have to meet all people where they are. Mm-hmm. And I'm thankful for my life. Not only that, I'm a hood guy, but I'm an educated man. And so I'm able to change the hat at any given time and speak the language or the culture to any people, whether they're Asian, whether they're Hispanic, it doesn't matter. Whoever they are, God has kind of raised me up to meet people where they are. So our ministry, and now this spin of this social media in the pandemic, people coming from everywhere because they want to see the state. So now, you know,
once TikTok Bishop.
Yeah, so, and that's what Dr. Jamal Bryan called me, the TikTok Bishop. I say, stop playing.
Yeah, TikTok Bishop.
And so what I try to do is try to be open and meet people where they are. It's tedious because I'm a radical preacher. Now I'm in an area. Well, my wife, let's back up. My wife, she cuts every check. My wife paid every bill. We was never late on a late bill. I mean, light bill. She just awesome, phenomenal with the finances, and I can trust her. So she handled that the entire life of the ministry. We never been set out. We never been late on a bill. And that's absolutely awesome. She cut every check, pay every staff, da-da-da-da-da-da. So now in the ministry of pastoring 15 years, and God is reaching people that's unchurched, I'm finding myself representing myself and recultivating my presentation because persons I'm reaching now don't know church. And I'm an old school, hardcore preacher when these people like scholarship and teaching.
Yes.
So now I'm trying to reinvent my presentation so I don't miss people by hooping and hollering, but literally just talking. But that's my style. I grew up in that.
Absolutely.
Baptist, hard, churchy, Pentecostal, you know. And so dudes that's coming off the street that's selling dope or coming in the hip hop culture and feeling me in an open area, once you start, you can lose them.
Yeah.
And so the hooping is really for me. I enjoy it. It's a preacher's celebration, right? That's just for me. It's for nobody. I ain't entertaining nobody. It's a regiment for me. Like somebody who's rapping, it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm a preacher gets when he does that. And so, but people miss it. And so I find myself with this new wave that God is sending in of recreating presentation. The way I do ministry outside of pulpit is the same. I love people. We deal with addicts. We deal with the broken. That's never going to change. The message never going to change. It's just now I'm changing my method. So I'm really rebuilding, restaging, restructuring, retooling, resetting the whole ministry, the way it looked, what we do. And then you have to have the boundaries of COVID. And so it's tedious right now. You know, people are reluctant of coming back. And so now you have to manage, reappropriate relationships and leadership to take care of those that's coming. So it's you know, it's tedious. It's a tedious time that no one ever traveled or have a model for pastoring, whether you big or small. In some cases, the small have more advantage than the big.
And let me ask you this: I'm sorry. How do you? I mean, because there's some people that they ain't coming back to church. They're not coming back to the brick and mortar. They're not coming back. They're opting for online church now. So, you know, there's, like you said, there's a new generation that's calling for something different than, you know, what we grew up on.
Right.
So what do you say to those people who said, you know, they ain't coming back?
Well, my prayer is that when God, I said when God remove this thing where we can worship in spirit and safety, that they're going to come back to the house of God, because there's nothing that substitutes corporate worship. Nothing. It's something that happens when we in the same, not the church, but a same gathering place. Something that happened that you'll never get online. You'll never get online. You get a lot of head game online. You'll get a lot of intellectual challenge processes online. You'll get some arousement, some goosebumps online. But the transformation of being in a place with another saint, because there's going to be some times when you're online when you don't feel like praising God. You don't feel like lifting up your hands. And most persons don't have a private worship anyway. And so when you come into the public worship where other believers are, they may have the strength. Because if I'm standing with somebody and I don't feel like lifting up my hands and worshiping God, because through worship, authentic things happen.
Yes.
I mean, for the believer. Now, for the new people, they have to gradually come. You have to wait on them. They can stay online for a minute. You invite them. Then when they really get that experience, they'll understand. Those of us that understand the experience, the encounter you get with a believer, nothing substitutes corporate worship. Nothing. The scripture says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, you know, I'll be in the midst. And so
right there in the middle,
gracefully teach that, and that ran, you know, put it down people's throat. Because some people may not. Now, who we reaching now, people are streaming, watching us all over the world. So there's persons who will never come in our church, but they still, you know. And what I do is I tell them, hey, in your city, if you can, find you a house of worship where you can go. You can still follow me. You can still get something from me. You can still be blessed by what we do.
But you a house.
Yeah, you live in New Zealand. You know, you may never enter in my presence where I can touch you and lay my hands on you. And so you need to be in a physical place. If you follow the script, see, that's what I want to teach with people, with Christians. If they follow our manual, though that early church went to the temple every day at 3 o'clock. That's why they had power and in unity. We go once a week and then we miss a week. We don't know what's going on with the person. You know, it's a lot. It's a trip. In a Zoom, you have to get a series for me to talk about the importance of corporate worship. So I'm praying for persons that's locally that stay home when the worship is in place. I'm praying for that, because they get lost. Then no accountability. So if you're not having any accountability, you can't be responsible. If you're not responsible, you'll never grow. You see, so they watching online, they can get up off a line and go watch another preacher. No accountability.
They can't.
Sit. Some people just need to sit.
As the folks say,
and smart that they don't need to sit. Some people think they're that smart they don't need to sit. Some people need to sit down. Sit down. Instead of, you know, I don't like what he's saying, I'm gonna go watch my next preacher. You see, or if the preacher is confronting you with some life error and you don't want to hear it, but you need it, you turn it off and go to somewhere what you want to hear, so you don't grow. So, but when you're in a physical place, you just can't get up. Well, you can, but it's just not that easy. So you sit there and digest the real meat of the word. And that's where we need to go. And we're trying to teach people that gradually, gracefully, so it won't be like a plunging. If you got to watch your line, watch your line. That's my, you can ask my church, that's my saying. I'm going to coin that phrase. Nothing substitutes corporate worship. Nothing.
So I want to segue into this book, Bishop. Of course, I ordered the book and I read it real quick. The title, when I saw the title, and let me tell you, my son watches you. I have a 10-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And he saw the book. He said, wait a minute, he got a book too? So he saw the book sitting on the couch. We finished reading it. So the title says From Cocaine to Collar, but there was so much before the cocaine.
Yeah.
There was so much of you. When I'm reading the book, you were born a leader, very authoritative. I mean, just everything that I read about your early childhood and those things before the cocaine, it was just like God was strategically positioning you and placing you and moving things around for us to be sitting here on this Zoom today. So let's talk about some of that before the cocaine, because that was a rich part of your life. The one of the things, because my husband coached basketball, my older son played basketball, and something that resonated with me when you said the coach made you sit down your senior year.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow, you read that, huh?
Yeah, I read the book. You said that because there's so many lessons in this book. You said the coach made you sit down.
Yeah.
The senior year, and so I'm thinking that somebody who's athletic, somebody, because my son played basketball. He plays well. So somebody who knows that they can, knows that they're capable, knows that they're talented, to have to sit down, be sat down, knowing that you can contribute, but you were placed in this holding pattern there, and then for you to later say, that was one of the greatest things that happened to you.
Sure.
One of the greatest things that happened to you. So there, in that space, tell me about that, Vance Oles, in that spot, sitting on the bench, because that you can learn from the bench. I tell people, don't get it twisted. Just because you're on the bench doesn't mean you're not in the game. You got to keep your head in the game. So tell me the lessons you got from the bench.
One of the lessons is too, you learn after the season. God Almighty. So that's all seasons. You learn after the season. In it, I didn't know it.
Come on.
At 16 years old, I didn't learn from the season I was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It brought me to tears after basketball because I knew that I was better than guys that were before me. But I loved the game so much I wouldn't quit. But the lessons wasn't learned till after the season was gone. God,
that's good. That's good.
In real
that is
life,
so good.
You don't learn the lesson till the season is gone, because the lesson is not for that season. The lesson is for the season to come.
Mm-hmm.
That lesson is for me today. Mm-hmm. I was sat down because I was selfish. I was sat down.
You said you're selfish, and said that the coach know you were getting high.
Yeah, I was getting high. I think that was one. He never confronted me because half the team, it was the guy that was before me, we got high together. So it had to be something bigger than getting high, because the guy who started before me, we got high together. So if he knew I was getting high, of course he should have known that the rest was getting high. Half of the team was smoking weed.
But I think that even in that holding pattern, while you were on the bench, I think that there was more being cultivated in your life.
Yeah.
That like you said, it was after the season.
Yeah. It literally broke me. I resented my coach, Coach Hay, for several years for that, because I thought he stole my dream. Mm-hmm. Not to be arrogant, to be humble as I possibly can. Mm-hmm. I was small. I was 5'7", but I was dunking.
Oh yeah.
I was a pretty good basketball player. I had scholarships. I was one of the best in the area as a guard, and I thought he stole my dream because he sat me down, and no scouts or for any colleges.
That was a pivotal part of your senior year high school. That's a lot. That's major.
Yeah, that was major. And so I knew right away, because I was musically engaged. So I got up with my music teacher. I knew right away, because he benched me. I only had like 3 offers from like Penn State, some junior colleges to play ball. And I knew right away that he was still in my career. Yeah. I knew that, and it was hurting. And so I used ingenuity. When there was an opportunity for basketball, I used ingenuity with music. I got up under my music teacher, and I became the drum major, the president of the concert band, and started the jazz band in the high school, and I eventually got a music scholarship to Howard.
Yeah, but I read that. Let me ask you.
Oh, it was serious though. It was serious. I remember, if I could just put this chord in the paint really quickly, we were having summer and we played this particular high school every year. And what happened was I had got tired of the coach because I started my whole 11th grade year. I was the point guard. And so my coach was the JV coach. The senior coach left my senior year and he became the senior coach of the varsity team and brought his guys and benched me. And I knew I was better than the guy.
Of course.
And I was really fast. So I would beat everybody in our sprint runs. So this particular practice, I said, man, I'm not going to outdo everybody in
not play.
And don't start. Right. And don't start. So I just jogged. I was like, man, I ain't gonna be busting my butt, hustling and stuff, and you still gonna bench me. And so after practice, he took me off the team and said, you won't play the summer league game. You gotta start, right? Watch this. And so I said, well, cool. Summer league, we won the first night, so the second night was championship. I'm benched the whole game, right? Put me in. Look, we was losing. He put me in. I promise you, this is on God, on my mother. He put me in. We catch up, take the lead. Because I was aggressive. I played a lot of defense. I was small. I was scrappy. And I took advantage of their point guard and doing a lot of fast breaks, court back up, take me out the game. Right? So I'm feeling you. I'm on the floor. I'm on the bench now, almost in tears, because I'm like, man, we winning. Now you're gonna take me back out, put him back in, And so we get to the last part of the game, the last shot, right? The last shot. I'm cold. I'm sitting on the bench. He puts me in the game to shoot the shot. Guess what? I miss. And I cried like a baby at 16 years old. 17. I cried like a baby. I then knew right then that it was over for basketball.
Wow.
I knew then it was over. And so I went to Howard.
Really?
Yeah. I knew it was over for basketball. So, that's when I got up under my coach. My band teacher, And when I went to Howard, some of the guys from the area went to Howard and they knew me. It was like, man, you gonna come play? I couldn't play basketball because I had to be in the marching band because I had a music scholarship. And the trials for basketball was during football season.
Conflict of interest.
I couldn't walk on the team. I couldn't walk on the team because I could still play. I was 17 years old. I was strong. I was young, good looking. I was young, strong. I couldn't even walk on the team. So,
Bishop, let me ask you this, because I'm sorry, we're moving into the drug addiction, that part. What if there was something you can say that led you to that? What would it be?
Led me to what? Addiction?
To addiction.
Hustling. Selling drugs. Distributing. It led me.
So it was the access, the ease of access.
Yes, it was access. When I went to Howard, I'm home. So all my family in DC, we call it uptown, was getting money back in the 80s. It was plentiful. And back then, we were selling cocaine, the powder. And so, of course, of Howard University, it was easy to sell because people would come to Howard from everywhere. They'd be young kids, they want to smoke some cocaine. So my family would give me cocaine cheap. So I was still smoking weed, but and then I started snorting a little bit because we were trying to be like Scarface. Everybody wanted to be like Scarface. Right? And so I'm snorting and I'm selling it. So I'm making money.
Yeah.
Until one day I'm with some girls and stuff and bagging up, and they cook the cocaine, and I don't want to get in that part because that might be a little bit too much for the line, and so
Okay.
clean. But
It's up to you.
I got turned out by chick
Right.
cooking it, and then I tried it, and my first try, I fell in love with the act of it.
Really.
I was gone from then. I was now I'm just.
And how long was that? How long was that journey?
That was about that took about a year and a half for me to get there. I only was selling drugs and getting money like that about a year and a half. And then once I started getting high, it doesn't take long for you to just, be out there. I was getting drugs from my family, so I messed up all that money. They was looking for me. I was in a hotel. I spent all the money, used all the drugs, and da 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 da. And then family cut me off. They ain't do nothing to me. They just cut me off.
Yeah.
And so that was worse than big. I would rather you beat me up and give me some more drugs. But
right.
they took that away from me. And so that led me to go outside of the family and start dealing with people in the street. And that just led one thing to the other. And it got dirty, it got dark, it got disappointing and dismal. And so, but if I would have to change it, I wouldn't change any of it.
Really?
I've gone through it. I couldn't tell nothing today.
Yes. What was when and I got like emotional when I read this part when you were talking about going to when you went before the judge and and got the pardon. I was I was like that was definitely nobody but God.
It's crazy.
Nobody but God.
Yeah, I was just Judge Missouri. I never forget him. He's dead now. My sister told me he died, and I never got the opportunity to go back and thank him for giving me the opportunity because I was at the time I was a 3-time loser. I missed a lot of. It's a lot in my story. It's a lot.
Of course, you couldn't put all of that. What is this? 50 pages? I was like,
no. I made the book intentionally short.
Yes.
So get into it really quickly and read it all.
Oh yeah, so we can get ready for the movie.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's crazy. Let me tell you something. It's so crazy. It's so much in it. And I never got it. I was a 3-time loser when you're talking about the court date. Which means I had 3 narcotic distribution charges. When you got 3 of the same charges, it carries a mandatory sentence.
Really?
Right. So that last charge, when I got pardoned, I was supposed to do 10 years mandatory because it's on the record I got 3 distributions. And so through that, long short, Missouri pardoned me and gave me that, which was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
It was something else I wanted to say. I forgot. It was something else in between there that was so.
I was about to say, just jump in if you remember. But I do want y'all to give some marriage advice, because you are so, in public. You live your life in public, and there's people that will watch this for different reasons. So, Lady Nicole, give these ladies some good marriage advice on how to keep your boo happy.
Just remember to always try to be respectful to one another. Don't lose that respect is very important. Let the man be the head of the house and you are his wife. Not that you are a robot, but you work together. You do have different opinions sometimes, but never let go to sleep and mad. We always strive to do that. If you have any kind of argument, work that out. Don't let the sun go down on you with you being mad. It's not worth it. Pick and choose your battles. It just
definitely
God, put God first and keep Him first and foremost. That makes your marriage happier and easier. You're not going to always agree, but you're going to you learn to compromise.
Mm-hmm. What's something y'all compromise on? I'll tell mine first.
Keep your family and friends out of your business.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I was asking what's something that y'all compromise on. I'll tell mine first. Well, I like the fan on high, and my husband don't like a lot of air. So that's always a compromise in my house.
That sounds like us. I like it cold. He likes it hot.
Cold.
Well, I think it has something to do because you're a singer too. My husband sings, and you know they don't like all the air. And it's for their throat and all that. I don't know, but I like it.
Did you say I'm a singer?
Yes.
How you know I'm a singer?
I read your book.
Okay, that is in the book. You're right.
I read your book. And also, anybody is musically inclined as you are. You talking about wanting to be in that band with your cousin that many times. There's just so. I mean, like I said, I mean the creator, God, the creator, placed so many gifts in us, and just it was you being where you are now was inevitable. Oh, the only person that could have stopped it is you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's God's plan.
So yeah. So Bishop, give us some marriage tips.
But my wife is very demonstrative. She can live it more than she can articulate it.
Mm-hmm.
We teach 4 C's in righting wrongs. Actually 5 C's in righting wrongs. The first C is to confront.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you confront, you correct. After you correct, you communicate. After you communicate, you compromise. And if you can't do those 4, you cut off. Now, being in a marriage is not, you can't cut off, you stuck.
Right.
Right. But those particular C's are absolutely indispensable because one, with communication is to a relationship is like oil to a car.
It
right?
is.
The oil is not in the car will break down. And the reason 96% of marriages are breaking down because they have a lack of communication. And communication doesn't mean talking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would never be able to meet my wife's need unless I listen to what the need is. Not so busy trying to get her to do what I want her to do, but to listen to her so I can serve her better. You can never pour into a full glass. So even when you're in an agreement, with me trying to show her what I want her to see, and she has her own independent mind, and when I'm trying to pour into her when she's full, it would never work. So I study to be quiet. That's biblical.
Yeah, it is.
Study to be quiet. I let her pour out. Then I'm able to pour in.
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Oh, that was good. I've never heard the analogy like that.
Yeah.
Let her pour out so you can pour in.
How you gonna pour in something full?
That's
so
cool.
You want that? I'm trying to show you, baby, I need you to see this. And she's trying to say, no. No, I study. I'm the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Be quiet, right? And let her get it all out. And then once she get it out, and then I'm able to pour, we probably saying the same thing anyway.
Come on now.
We got the same juice. And so, so those were learning experiences though.
Yes.
Like I said, going back to me trying to conform my wife to a first lady, I will always tell her, hey, you need to follow me. I'm the leader. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do that. And I called one of my mentors and they said, what is God saying to you, son?
Right.
You study to be quiet.
Yes.
I'm trying to make her become something and tell her to do something. And when she's full, you know, be quiet. Why go back?
She's pretty happy sitting there.
We have our disagreements.
Grown.
Yeah, we grown.
Grown in ministry, grown in marriage,
and grown individually. I'm a grown, mature man, and I had opportunities in my addiction to work on some behaviors and attitudes.
Yes, sir.
That's the biggest thing. You can't fix your marriage or your relationship if you're broken. So we have to personally take some observation of our behaviors and attitudes. Like Absolutely. I grew up self-centered, selfish. The world revolves around Vance. That's why I used drugs, because it was self-consuming. It's the core of my disease. I'm self-centered. When I was a child, I want my toys and yours. See, and so now as a grown man, when you become 20 or 30, you still have those emotions. And I got high at 12. So I didn't know how to handle emotions at 12. My emotions stopped being handled at 12. So I'm 25 trying to stop getting high with being 12-year-old emotionally. See, when I was 12, I got high on every emotion. So I numbed my emotions. When I started getting high, I had the reality to deal with them and didn't know how to deal with them as a 25-year-old man. So when I'm insecure, I smoke a joint. When I'm happy, I smoke a J. When it's raining, it's a good day to smoke a J. It's hot, it's a good day to smoke a J. Somebody died, it's a good day to smoke a J. Oh, I just finished a test, somebody, So every emotion I use at the age of 12. So now it's trying to stop getting high at 21. I'm 12 years old emotionally. So I had to work on those emotions. So at 40 years old, getting married, or 35 getting married, I'm still insecure. I'm still jealous. I still can't handle my wife seeing somebody attractive without me giving her silent treatment.
That's so good.
Yeah. And so I had to deal with
a whole nother discussion. We got to get y'all in this it's a whole nother discussion. We got to get y'all in there.
All right. I know I went off on a binge, but
no. I'm just saying, I want to do that. That is such a good point. That the struggles that you had and the inability to process them, they didn't go away.
No. And then the relationship. Yeah. So it's back to the relationship. If I don't deal with me individually, I can't bring health to my relationship.
Absolutely.
What if you in your relationship and you still insecure? You work, you got a good job, you provide for your family, but you insecure in your feelings, so you don't know how to express them. And that hinders the relationship.
And so how did y'all work through that? I know, since we talking about relationships now. How did you process through that?
Well, like I said, we had to do personal work. Mm-hmm. You got to do personal work. As the leader, as the man, this is what I teach. Role one for leadership is to take blame. Right? That's rule number one. Leadership, take blame. So whatever happens in my relationship, in my house, is my fault. My fault. Because rule number one for leadership is to take blame. You cover, you teach, you take the blame. And so I had to get myself together so that I won't continue to take blame. And I teach that in premarital counseling, because a lot of people, when they come to me after counseling, and I tell them this, they like, she cussed me out. Well, before you got married, you ought to taught her how to treat you better or cut her off. After you get married, she cussed you out. It's your fault. You ought to taught her.
Right.
So, that's why it's important to have premarital counseling. And
that's true.
This is my fault and I'm responsible. I'm the leader. It's always a constant work on self, because I am the thermostat in my house. 2020 vision, I want all the loot.
I'm talking be my all clean, fit too mean, finger all shiny on my baby's diamond ring. I was on a high till I caught onto the scene. Swear I lost my heart when I fell in love with things. Rookie year went broke like Jalen Rose. Got the price, sold my soul to the things I own. Switched up, locked in, and got my mind